Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5. Yeah, 5 of On the Podcast, your weekly shitcast. Ooh. I am Tyler. I am the creator of the blog on thegamely.blogspot.com, a blog for video game stuff. And I'm mobbing with
Jacob,
who has done nothing.
Channel still ain't up. It was supposed to be up. People don't work out with you, and you just
if you listen to all the podcasts, you realize that Justin. Jesus, I just hung out with Justin. Jacob has not accomplished anything in his life. So
did a pretty sweet speech, though.
No, talk louder. But
dang, I'll come closer.
So
trying to play the couple with you.
So anyway, that's pretty much the gist of this. So let's get this thing started with the theme song, right? Meow. And welcome back. That was our theme song done by the wonderful Gabriel Vinyls or Vinals or Vinewiles.
Vinewiles.
And you can Vinewiles. And you can follow him on Twitter at Dungeon Studio NY, which you should, because I do. You can like him on Facebook at facebook.com/thedungeonstudio, or listen to his music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Gabriel-Vinyls, Vinylz. I kind of wonder if I'm actually saying his last name right. I've never actually asked him in all the time I've known him how to say his last name.
How many years have you known him?
I've known him for it must be near 10 years.
Wow.
Wow. So much knowing, Gabe. Wow. Yeah.
Such no,
Gabe.
much friendship. Wow.
Yeah, all we do is do memes because we don't have a sense of humor for ourselves. So we just quote memes in hopes that the internet will accept us. Yeah? Well, anyway, you're listening to...
I couldn't think of a meme.
He was trying to think of a meme. He just looked at me awkwardly. You're listening to On the Podcast, and you are... Come on.
On the podcast.
You
I'm
are...
glad to think about that one. I'm like, are you asking who I am again?
My God, you're slow. I need to find a different co-host.
Me too.
Yeah, so, what's up?
Well, I've been working on many clocks. No, maybe I should get to the more important stuff first.
Okay, what's the more important stuff? What?
I drew a little.
Yeah,
I did a little bit of painting.
What are you drawing and painting?
Well, I've been drawing some random people, and in art class I've been painting. Trying to think of what it is. I think it's like an apple orchard.
That's pretty gangster stuff.
Yeah, it is. Word.
What else you been doing? Anything?
Actually, the sadder thing is I watched all the cutscenes from Halo 1 to 4, which comes out to almost 4 hours.
You have almost a sadder life than I do.
Actually, I think I may have rewatched one of the game's cutscenes again, so I probably watched 5 hours worth.
At once?
No, I sat down and watched 2 and then half of 1, and I couldn't sleep, so I watched half of 3, and then the next day I watched the other half of 3, and then watched 4, and I was really bored.
Yeah, Halo always puts me to sleep too.
Yeah, it didn't.
Oh, snap!
Dang! I actually found some things out about Halo 4 that I didn't know.
Yeah, like what?
I didn't know they passed by the Halo rings.
Oh. I'm a bad person to ask because I don't remember.
I didn't actually remember seeing half those cutscenes, so I have a feeling that they threw in that you had to play Legendary to see half of them. Because because I don't remember seeing any of them. But Halo is actually pretty good for cutscene, for like alternate cutscenes, because if you in 3, there's multiple scenes where there's like 5 different cutscenes. I don't know how you get some of them, the other 2, but like it's just basically people like Sergeant Johnson screaming different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I never played Halo for the story, so I don't really remember any of it. People always praise it for its story, but I couldn't care less. I don't know if it's like a first-person shooter thing, and there's only a few first-person shooters in the entire world. In the entire world. Yes, the entire world. That has a good story. Or that I think has a good story. And The Darkness is one of them. And, I don't know.
I like religious stuff, that's why I'm drawn to it.
Well,
it's a big religious war.
Well, your older brother is God, so...
Yeah.
That's me. I'm his brother.
You ain't God.
Before we continue...
You're the anti-God.
Dang. Before we continue, maybe we should give a shout-out to your friend who listens.
Actually, now I have a second friend.
You have 2 friends?
Yeah.
Oh,
world record!
Yeah.
Yo.
2 friends that listen?
Yo, well, first we better give it out to our big fan. An award going out to Jason for listening to all of them.
You were really stuck on this award thing.
Yeah, I was telling Tyler we need to give an award to our biggest fan. Jason, you've won a date with Tyler.
Oh,
and I'll pay a date paid by me.
Well, am I a
Tyler's choice. Where you go? It's not really your choice. I know it's your prize.
I know where we're going, to a dark alley.
Oh yeah.
So who's the other friend?
His name's Blake. He watched like the first 5 minutes. Skip the song.
So why are we giving a shout out to him if he only listened to 5 minutes?
He's like the third person to listen.
He listened to 5 minutes.
You gotta skip the intro though. He's like, he couldn't be bothered to listen to it. I'm like, that hurt. So I feel like now every episode we should play the intro like multiple times through it just to throw him off, like so he won't know it.
He gets no props from me.
Yeah, no, you don't win a prize. Minutes. Second prize goes out to Justin. It's a secondary prize. He wins
the silver medal.
He wins he wins a chance to come to her house. Except everyone can't win that because I don't want random people in our house.
Yeah, I don't really want the entire internet.
Yeah, that's maybe a secondary prize that will discontinue.
We'll just discontinue.
Maybe we'll discontinue the whole award thing. I don't want to really have to pay for dinners on every episode.
I don't really want to give anybody anything. So
no, you weren't. I was paying for their dinner.
You're paying?
It just you had to go on the dinner with them.
Where are you getting all this money? I get to go on a dinner? Where am I going?
No, you got to choose.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, no, it's their prize, but you get to choose.
Yeah, that seems good. That seems good with me.
Yeah, I haven't seen any flaws with this prize.
No, there's no problems with it whatsoever. So, yeah, your award, i.e. me, I guess, it'll be showing up at your house.
I don't really know
in a big giant box.
I don't know where Jason lives, so...
We'll find
him. We'll leave you somewhere in the town. I'll direct him to where you are.
Yeah, so now that that's out of the way.
I'm not going to give anyone our address either. No, or where you work.
I hope not.
Yo, PM me, I'll tell you.
Write a comment on YouTube, and we will tell you where we live.
I don't even remember what I was talking about. What started this?
I don't know. It was Halo. You always talk about Halo every single week. I'm going to ask you what you're playing, but you're probably going to say Halo.
Actually, yeah, because I just got reached, so I was playing with my friend.
See?
Shout out to Adam, who's also a man in clogs. Doesn't it say who's also a men in clogs?
You're part of the non-existent YouTube group.
Well, the channel exists.
The channel exists, but the videos
just certain members of it don't know how to make pictures for it.
Quick, go subscribe. You want to give the URL?
I don't even know if I've been given the right URL. I could have been giving it to someone else's channel, and they could have been getting all the love.
Dang.
Because I don't know how many people would think of men in clogs.
Probably none.
Don't worry. I think. What was it used to be? It used to be like.
What?
Like men in kilts, but
kilts.
That's already a company.
This is just a shit we ramble about, because the thing you got to know about this podcast, especially the last this is the second week now. We literally have nothing to talk about. So we're just letting it go to see where it goes.
It could have been Men in Skirts.
Well, that'd probably be more fitting for you.
Oh, dang!
Well, you got anything else? You got anything else you've been playing or doing?
What I've been playing? I was playing Super Mario 3D World.
Oh yeah, he was playing Super Mario 3D World.
Nintendo game.
And you were watching me play Donkey Kong earlier this week, weren't you?
And I was watching you play South Park.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We haven't gotten into we're not. That's what you're playing, not what I'm playing. I'll ask myself that in a second.
Let's see. I think I played a little bit of GTA.
You kind of abandoned that for a while, didn't you?
Well, yeah,
you never mentioned playing it.
I was trying to get video started, plus I just didn't really feel like playing it.
Oh.
Well, actually, technically, last Friday I did, like Friday night, which really just went into like Saturday, I did start Skyrim, Assassin's Creed 3, and Halo 1. I needed a quick short game to stick in there, so I'm like Halo 1 short.
Yeah, because Skyrim is... I didn't know if you knew this, but Skyrim is long.
Yeah, I probably just abandoned it like 20 hours in.
I abandoned it. I don't have time to dedicate hundreds of hours to games.
Especially since I know I'll take up half the time just killing random people that I see. I already had to restart where it was twice, because first I kind of walked into this the first town, I forget what it's called, and I went in, stole some stuff. I was getting some bounty on me. Went to the house, talked to them, killed a chicken. One of the dudes I was talking to ran after me, and I had brought up this enchanted weapon that I found. And I just killed him, and I'm like, well, he shouldn't have came swinging at me. Killed his friend.
Well, he brought it on himself.
Yeah, and then I got angry when it restarted. Went into his house. He wasn't there. His wife and kid were there. So I took out the wife, and then as I showed my friend this, he's like, "This is the worst clip I've ever seen," because I just went towards the kid and I just swung the axe, and my friend's like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "They brought it upon themselves."
Yeah, they shouldn't have been there.
Then I felt bad because then my teammate, the guy supposed to help me, turned on me, and then he killed me because he was uber level and I had no shield, and then I had to restart. But I was killing town folk, or they shouldn't have messed with me.
I know.
So then I took a swim.
After all that, I decided I need to take a load off, so I just took a swim.
And then apparently, half the video I don't even remember. I don't know if I was
What, were you drunk?
I think so, because I don't remember walking across this bridge and doing stuff. I'm like, I remember ending it after I took a swim, but apparently I went across the bridge.
Damn, I think you lost some of your memory. I think you're like GSP. So he would say that he kind of would black out and not remember things. Then he started blaming it on aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
He's pretty messed, but I think it's just because he got punched in the head for a living.
Is that why he looks down people's shorts? Is he trying to find aliens?
Yes, we'll call it aliens. Because he is totally hetero.
Yeah, that's what I've been playing and doing. Just playing them games, doing that school.
I got all kinds of stuff I've been doing.
Still, I actually went on after the podcast to talk to someone about the weird peanut butter sex talk, as it's titled in the last podcast.
Well, that was a pretty big part of the podcast, wasn't it? Plus, I figure if you tag it like weird peanut butter sex talk, then somebody might be like, I'm gonna check to see what this is. That's pretty much what I'm hoping. So, yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
You want to know what I've been doing?
Sure.
Tyler, what have you been doing? Oh, not much. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I guess the biggest news, and I don't expect anyone listening to this to care.
You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant. I'm giving birth tomorrow. Maybe right now. I don't know. I'm pretty calm under pressure, so I might be giving birth right now. But, no, I got my computer. This isn't news to you, because you are looking at it right now, but I got my new fancy computer. So now I can play all kinds of games in high settings, and you know how I've been celebrating being able to play high setting games? By playing South Park. Stick of truth. You know, The first game I've ever played on my new computer. Not exactly one that tests it. I feel like I should download like Crysis or something
I would have said like
and just run like 3 of them.
Skyrim, but like full settings, which is like the dream of every nerd.
Not me.
You would have just like you've just accomplished the one thing every nerd has wanted to do that doesn't have a lot of money. Every kid out there will like rally
Look
and
up
call
at
you
me
a
and
god.
say, "Can I have your computer?" And I'll look down at them and say, "No."
They'll think of you as a god. Who watches the Tyler?
Kids, kids already think I'm a god. Probably because I'm a
Your godlike figures.
Yeah, I
Your
got my
broad
my
shoulders.
masculine, muscular look.
Your man breasts that just
My moobs.
tower over them.
My Big E level man titties.
Yeah.
Um,
Your chiseled chin.
Damn. I'm sexy in this imaginary world. But yeah, so been playing what have I been playing? South Park. And I got a little bit of a beef before I go on and talk about whatever wherever this podcast takes us. I hate GameSpot.
GameSpot hates you.
I gotta say, since I know Justin's listening, I'm sorry that you're pretty much just hearing shit I've already talked about. But anyway, I hate GameSpot because they get to the point where they're too hard on games. Like, first of all, they don't like the Wii U. Like, you gotta pretty much, like, one of the only games that got over a 9 was Super Mario. And all these other games would get nothing past 8.
I feel like it's because it's Mario. It's a given that they're going to.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like, an 8 is a good score. But some of these games deserve higher than 8, they don't get it. And Donkey Kong got something like a 6.5. Yeah. And I know it's only one person doing the reviewing, but considering they're the ones representing GameSpot, maybe they do it just to piss people off at this point. Like, oh my god, GameSpot gave it a 6.5 or whatever. Because I think they gave South Park something like a 6 or 6.5.
Really?
And I'm about 4 hours into it, maybe. And I'm quite enjoying it. Not that I think it's a perfect game. I think that you pretty much got to appreciate South Park, or at least that brand of humor, even if you don't watch South Park, to like it a lot, because it does require...
What do they expect from it? Like,
it has like the South Park charm. It's like you're playing a South Park episode.
Do they expect to completely like change the art style and graphics?
I don't know. I didn't actually read the review. Because I didn't want to read the review until I played the game.
Given that some of the music can be music, like some of the songs sound kind of pretty that I would listen to.
I know the music.
Not exactly the Skyrim-esque Cartman song.
I love that Skyrim-ish Cartman song. I think that's fantastic. Like, I think the game is wonderful. Like, if I had to rate it right now, I'm leaning probably a 9. But I mean, I want to play it a little more before I actually officially review it for the blog. I don't know if I've ever ranted about it on the podcast, but I just happen to notice that GameSpot is too hard on games.
And don't they sometimes seem to give really high things to things they don't exactly deserve?
Well, other systems...
Didn't even Rise get a sort of high?
I don't know. I don't remember what Rise got. I'm not saying every game gets a bad score, but I mean, like Tom McShay reviewed, like, The Last of Us last year, and I'm pretty sure he gave it, like, an 8. I mean, and it's cool if someone else doesn't love the game, but
isn't there a rating?
It's like they do. It's really like they do it just to be different sometimes.
Is GameSpot based, like, is their rating based on, like, a personal, like, not only was the game good, but was it biased towards if they just themselves liked it, or actually if it was like good mechanics and stuff?
Well, a reviewer has to have some degree of objectivity, but you can't escape, like, personal preference. Like, there's been plenty of games or movies or whatever that have been technically sound, like, good stuff that I just didn't really enjoy that much. For whatever reason, like, I mean, like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, like the movies. I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy. I can respect the hell out of like what they've done with the movies, but I'm just not a Lord of the Rings guy, so I don't like them.
Do you want to know a quick fact about Lord of the Rings?
Yes, let's do.
In one scene where they're shooting like a battle, if you look to the mountains, there's a car driving, and like I guess they didn't realize to like cut off the roads there.
That's funny. But yeah, really this week I played Donkey Kong and I beat it and I reviewed it. If you read the blog on thegameway.blogspot.com,
you have a blog?
I think I have a blog, but I'm not sure. But so I played Donkey Kong, but now I've really only been playing South Park, which I'll play for the next few days. Titanfall comes out next week, so I'm gonna put a bunch of hours into that when it comes out and get a review up as quick as possible. And then South Park will be a game I eventually review, but it'll be a game I review like weeks from now because I'm just going to pick away at it. Because it's like an RPG, so I'm assuming it's pretty long. Like Bravely Default, I didn't review it for like, a month or so after it got out. So, I mean, RPGs will probably be like that for me. Like I won't be able to review them in a quick period of time. Because unfortunately, I'm not big enough in the business that they send me copies of the game early. I would love that.
Oh man, my channel's so advanced. I already have GTA 6 on the lineup.
Yeah, you didn't know. And you also got GTA 5 on PC.
Yeah. And even on Vita.
You want to know what else I've been doing?
What?
I've been listening to Limp Bizkit lately.
Well, I listened to a little. Oh man, I forgot what else I was doing, and it involves Limp Bizkit.
Okay, from this point on, the podcast will now become the Limp Bizkit. Reliving the 90s, early 2000s. Well, I guess technically they're still around now.
Do they actually?
When did they come out? I can't remember when they came out.
Is their music still cheesy and stupid? Like
yeah, well, we just listened to one of their new singles. That one with was it Lil Wayne in that one?
Yeah.
That was a new
But
single.
like, I just thought that may have just been one song. I'm guessing.
No, Limp Bizkit doesn't know how to be anything other than cheesy and stupid. But I'll get into that in more depth because I feel like this is something worth discussing for about 45 minutes.
Actually,
but I want to hear what you were gonna say first.
Because back to like the homework thing, I've been doing like a multimedia project, which took me like 5 hours to write the script for, and it's only like 6 pages long. Which is a little much because no one else bothered to do that. Most people put their project together since it's our grade 11 project in a few hours or 2 days. And it's been like a week now and I'm still just prepping. But like, one of the scenes after I heard Rollin' again, I'm like, there's a scene where we have to like cock guns and stuff, and I'm gonna like put it in the most cheesy, like slow-mo, nerdy gangster type scene with like Rollin' playing when we mean like the other protagonists are about to get in like the vehicle to like go to where we're supposed to go, and I'm like, I just need to make it cheesy.
Well, yeah, all the videos I've ever taken part in have pretty much been cheesy. Like, I mean, random people just find this podcast won't understand. But I used to do something with Justin, Donkey Punch Central. And, like, every video we did was pretty much cheesy. Except for, like, the, like, serious, like, movie review ones and shit. But, like, our whole main series, Shooting the Breeze, was cheesy. It's just fun to be cheesy because it's also an easy way to kind of escape the fact that you can't act. Like, oh no, I meant to be purposely bad.
Yeah, like
when I was acting. It's really I just can't act.
I think I'm moderate with the videos I make. I don't know if I like acting as much. I prefer to write the script and get everything ready, but I try not to be as cheesy. That's why I don't like writing dialogue, because all the dialogue came out to like, it's blasting time.
Oh no.
Things like, and I'm like, you know what? It was influenced a little by the fact that I'm trying to make the characters like kind of like an 80s style, but in like the modern times. That's why the main villain is going to wear a black suit with red tie and a fedora, whereas his henchmen are going to be in hoodies. I'm going to roll up in I think a police outfit, like a cop hat and probably like a trench coat, and the other protagonist is going to be in like a more of a suit type thing. But
You're giving all your ideas to the interwebs.
yeah, I'm gonna have one of us is gonna have like an old style like holster of like a cowboy with like the Magnum in it.
Yeah.
So, like it's gonna look so like cheesy, but it's gonna be great because like some of the scenes are extremely elaborate. There are actually scenes, I think, because this project is supposed to be something you can do with one camera. I upped it to like 3 or 4 cameras, and I think some scenes are gonna have like it's a Vantage project, so that you're gonna have like it's gonna flow, but it's gonna go to different cuts, so it looks like the camera's in different spots.
Yeah.
And like most people will do like up to 3 or 4 cuts in the scene, but I'm like I'm gonna up it to like 8 cuts and see how crazy I can go. There's even gonna be a scene where I'm gonna have like a first person like. It's gonna be really hard holding a gun, but I'm gonna like make it look like a first-person shooter with a gun, kind of like bobbing in front and holding the camera as I like try to run. Because I don't think I should tape a school camera to a gun and try to run.
No, I don't think that's smart.
It isn't. But yeah, it's just me trying to one up every other project. So I'm like, there's some pretty good editors. And they're all trying to do really good projects. I'm like, I'm going to make one really elaborate to try to one-up them, because I like doing that.
We're going to make like a B movie, though. That's going to be great.
I know.
Like cheesy.
I'm going to be in the stars.
Action-filled, heart-wrenching, multimedia project.
It's going to...
Directed by Jacob.
It's like the plot's like these bad guys have stolen a secret weapon, and I feel like since no one here is in multimedia that's listening... I can just say the secret weapon is the plasma pistol from Halo.
Dun, dun, dun.
Originally, my friend's like, do you know what we should do? We should just rip out a recipe from a cookbook and just have it be like a recipe. I'm like, that would be the stupidest but greatest thing ever. Because I'm like, this has to be like this really serious movie. And then when the secret weapon's revealed, it's like a pencil. That's what they've been fighting for.
I see a lot of you and me. Although, obviously, different things because technology is more advanced with you growing up than it was when I... But I remember back in elementary school, we had to write this story about surviving on a deserted island.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, like, I'm writing this story, and it's serious, and it's like, you know, I built, I don't know, shelter of... trees or something. I don't even know. I don't even remember what I wrote because that was like grade 6. So anyway, after all this serious stuff, I decide at the end, like, okay, a plane is coming down to save me, and as I'm running to the plane, I ran into a tree. And little did I know, and it's so stupid, right? But I mean, I was in grade 6, and everyone else was writing these really serious things, and most of mine was really serious until the end where I ran to a tree. So, it got a good reaction.
It got a good rating on Goodreads.
Yeah, on Goodreads it has 5 out of 5 stars. But the class enjoyed it, so they kind of wanted to see another one. So I ended up writing this like Star Wars-ish, like epic series of running into trees. Where I created banapples. They were the fruit on the island, the banana apples. And like they wanted me to keep writing them, and then it got to the point where like I think we were going for a walk as a class. I'm not sure why. I guess we just were. And they were talking like, man, can I write a tree story? Can I write a tree story? And at first I'm like, yeah, but then as it went on, I'm like, no, I don't want people like using my intellectual property. So the teacher hated it. The teacher actually like would try to steal the stories and stuff. He hated the stories. He hated having to listen to them. But anyway, that's how I see a little bit of you and me, because you're an idiot.
Yeah. Though I try to like. Not only do I try to one up the class, whenever. No, seriously, like I just do. But like whenever the class is like doing one idea, I'm trying to do another, like a different one. So like the class is talking about like the story of like this girl that's really jealous of her sister, and then her aunt or something talks to her, and she explains that when she was jealous of her stepsister or whatever, she kind of watched her as the Undertow, like, took her away, and it's kind of like she watched her get killed. And everyone's talking like, oh, no, it's impossible that she let her die. And I'm just like, I think she let her die. And I talked to the teacher, she's like, you're the only one that can actually see that. Because everyone else is trying to make it, like, light of the story, and you're like, yeah, everyone's a murderer.
Yeah, she was just a bitch.
And, like, there's a story we wrote, it's like, not going to explain the story, but, like, you had to write your own, like, ending to it, whereas everyone's, like, going these weird routes, and I'm like, let's try to make this as dark as I can. So I'm like, let's have the guy be, like, a president, and have someone try to assassinate him, that's why he gets shot. I'm like, I like doing different things.
Because you're a different person.
And she's like, you know, in the years I've taught this, someone never came up with a presidential, like, version of this. I'm like, people came up with aliens, ninjas, magicians, but they never once thought that, like, a cop accidentally shooting a guy could be, like, a presidential assassination. I'm like, it's a simple idea.
It's a reality.
Yeah, like, I like being that different.
I like how Limp Bizkit brought in these creative juices here.
Yeah, because
this is
like,
how we got on the topic.
We're listening to the song, and I'm like, you know, this movie was trying to be pretty sweet, like, dark, but and like, the whole reason it started out was I was just sitting and I'm like, this Vantage project would be so cool if I could just do, like, a first-person shooter. Like, and I was actually going to film it all until he told us we had a story, and I'm like, it'll just look awkward if you have a story and suddenly halfway through it's like when they're trying to catch them, team, deathmatch. And I'm like, no, that would look stupid, but yeah, I just saw Limp Bizkit, or heard Limp Bizkit, and I'm like, every video needs Limp Bizkit. I don't care what it is. It can be a tribute to you, and it can, well, I guess it would. But
everything's a tribute to me. I collect tribute constantly from my followers and my peasants.
At your funeral, I'm just gonna play Rollin', 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 Rollin'.
Well, thanks, I appreciate it.
Because I want you to keep rolling, rolling.
Well, if you want me to keep rolling and I'm dead, you just take me out of my coffin and roll me down the hill. But yeah, I've been listening to Limp Bizkit because I don't know. Fred Durst has got to be like the greatest poet of like my generation. I mean, the shit he comes up with, like yelling "Damn, you're so hot." And, like, I know I've said this to you, but before, but his lyrics are like, there's confessional lyrics, and then there's pathetically confessional. Like, it's to the point where it's actually embarrassing for him to listen to some of his lyrics. Like, I want to sniff on those panties. But, like, you think it and you do it, but I don't really think you write a song with the lines that he does. But it makes him kind of brave in a sense. And I don't actually think he's a great poet.
He's a master. He can make songs that just fit with Halo.
No, I don't. I think he's a terrible lyricist. He's not even a terrible singer when he actually goes to sing, but I hate that annoying white boy thing that he does.
I actually kind of find it just fits him so well.
Listen, I'm getting to it. Let me finish. Damn, man. He writes terrible lyrics, but for all intents and purposes, he's very fitting to Limp Bizkit. I'm going to say it right now on the podcast.
Where you're on the podcast.
On the podcast. That Limp Bizkit, well, not so much now. Well, Golden Cobra was an interesting album in some respects. But they make entertaining music. I'm not saying it's good. Although I do think Wes Borland, like the guitarist and stuff, is actually a legitimately talented dude. In fact, I think the whole band outside of Fred Durst is kind of talented. Like, they're not... Well, Wes is probably the most talented. The other guys aren't... They don't do anything real amazing, but they are talented musicians that... And then they pair themselves with Fred Durst, but he's part of the charm of it. Like, I don't know if I'd listen to Limp Bizkit if I wasn't listening to him talk about doing it all for the nookie and sticking cookies up your ass and shit.
But I'm guessing he does it all to be silly.
No, I don't think he does. I just think he's terrible.
I thought he was just legitimately having fun. I didn't
Well,
know if he was trying to be serious.
I mean,
or...
sometimes I'm sure he's joking around, but sometimes he's just bad. Like, he came out with this, like, white boy, angry rap, rock, whatever, and, like, you know, basically, like, fuck you and all this shit. And then, like, years later, he tries to play the tortured artist, no one understands me role. And it's like, Fred, you can't...
He just needs to head for the barricade.
You can't pull that, Fred. I'm sorry. Nobody buys you. But with that said, I hate to say it, like, years later, I still enjoy listening to
It just pumps you up.
It's just, there's something about him, and I know people will hate on that because of who they are, and people hated, like, the whole nu metal scene. Well, people liked nu metal back in the day, but now it's like a dirty word. They hated that whole scene, the whole rap rock / nu metal scene. That birthed, well, admittedly, a lot of shitty bands.
Sleeping Sirens. Ooh.
Sleeping Sirens has nothing to do with nu metal.
Nah, it is. Isn't it? Doesn't it count as a metal band?
No. Well,
Because I see a lot of teen girls count like a lot of these
like
punk...
metalcore, or am I thinking a different band?
I don't know, because I
might
see
be thinking a different
the
band.
teen girls count them as both metal and punk.
Probably, like, I don't know. I'd have to listen to
Punk
it.
metal.
I can't remember who they are. But
The ones where
I'm not a teen girl, so...
the singer legitimately sounds like a woman. Like, I can't...
You sure
like,
it's not a woman?
I'm pretty sure... I forget what his name is, but when I first heard them, I'm like, they're a pretty talented bunch of singers. They're band. I'm like, they're cool, and then the person's like, they're dudes. I'm like, what?
Damn, they're
I'm like,
dudes?
I didn't even think like Bieber sounded much like a woman when I first heard him, but this dude legitimately was like, she sounds really good, and then I was corrected. I'm like, oh, oops.
All right, let me ask you a question. Right off, I'm putting you on the spot so everybody can make fun of you if you answer something silly. What's your favorite band or artist? Whichever.
I've never really answered this question.
Well, you're doing it.
I'll give a reason why,
podcast.
because when a teacher's like doing that, I'm like, I don't think a person really has just one. I feel like you can.
Also, you've been challenged.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
You've been challenged to name your favorite.
I feel like it changes a lot. Plus, I don't actually usually list.
Just right now.
So does an artist count like composer?
Yes, it can be, and I'm not holding you to it. I'm not going to be like tomorrow if you decide you like someone more. I'm not going to be like, but you said on the podcast.
But I don't know why I would bother to just tell you tomorrow. I'll just wait for the next
I don't know,
podcast.
because you guys have nothing better to do than to tell me random shit. Clearly,
I don't come up to your room and just tell you random crap and then leave awkwardly.
you look in my room awkwardly with
Yeah, when
love
you're
in
sleeping.
your eyes. Yeah, well, I'm sleeping, but I still see you because I open my eyes and I see you standing there. I mean, you don't have to answer it. It's just kind of.
I think I'm going to lean towards a composer. I just can't think of which one.
Look at you being all, I'm a composer freak.
I just prefer them.
I'm just joking. I'm just trying.
I think I once told someone I prefer music without lyrics because it allows you to create your own story about the song.
Well, then you should listen to post rock.
You've given me some.
Listen to like Godspeed.
I have if these trees
Mogwai.
if these trees could talk or whatever.
If these trees can. Is that the Alluvium?
I don't know. I know one of their albums is called Red Forest.
If these trees can talk. What was that from? Anyway, whatever. Listen to like ambient music and post rock and stuff. If that's what you like. Instrumental, pretty songs. I've always been enjoying having singing, but I mean it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm writing, I'd rather have something that's instrumental, like for different moods and whatnot. But
Is it sad that my go-to song from Sad is Never Forget from Halo? That really sad, like, piano song?
My go-to song for Sad? Ooh, that's a tough one. I know you didn't really ask me, but,
No, there's all kinds. That's, like, one big one. Like, when I went
To
to
Xanarkin
a breakup,
is
I actually
definitely
listened to
a
that.
sad song to listen to.
like, I hear most people say that's like a death song, but I kind of just think that's more of a song that I listen to when I'm thinking about the end of the world, because I don't think it's like I don't think of a singular death, even though that song plays multiple times, and I think characters, like single characters die.
There's a song that came with the Starbound like OST when I like pre-ordered or whatever, or just outright bought it, I guess, because I can play the beta, but I'm waiting for the full game. It's called like Mira, I think. It's like 20 minutes, and it's really sad. Like I guess in a way, I said that I'm more into singing, but in a way I'm more into instrumental, because if I had to pick one genre to listen to for the rest of my life, it's weird, but I'd probably have to say video game music. I know that video game music encompasses more than one genre.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I usually like count anything without lyrics as just instrumental. I don't like saying classical because I feel like it just means classical. Where some people
the thing about classical is if you actually find somebody who legitimately listens to classical, and I don't mean just like a song or like one artist or like Beethoven or Chopin or something. But if you listen to somebody who actually lives that world, to have their music just be seen as classical is like almost an insult, because people like even me, and I love music, and I've listened to a ton of genres, but even like myself, I classify it all as classical. Same with world music. Like, think about how stupid that genre term is. World music. You're encompassing the rest of the world into one genre.
Mm-hmm.
World. Like, they all, like, whether it's, like, Mongolian, like, Tuvan throat singing, or, like, African music, that's all described as world. But it all sounds different. It's the same with classical. I mean, I'm not smart enough to tell you the subgenres of classical, but yeah, I ranted. I defended
that instrumental, specifically video game and movie soundtracks.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of video game music. I mean, I guess it was stupid of me to say it was one genre, but I listen to a lot of it.
But favorite artist? Usually when I'm grouped, because sometimes I guess I have answered this question. It usually comes down to probably Hans Zimmer. Sometimes James Newton Howard. I don't know if I'd count him much. I never usually say John Williams, just because not the biggest fan, and it's not even that I don't really like. I don't know. I don't find all the Star Wars tracks actually be that amazing. Like, I almost never listen to anything beyond 3. And don't worry, I don't listen to 1. I don't find 1 had good music. I just single out 2 and 3 because I think his best work is that, and that probably just offended every old Star Wars fan. They're like, how dare you?
He also gets a lot of credit because, I mean, admittedly, he's made a bunch of classic
and,
songs.
I believe Indiana Jones theme, yes?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
But, I mean, yeah, he does. I mean, I don't listen to him, but, I mean, I know, like, whatever. I don't know who I'd say, like, my favorite, like, composer or whatever.
Nobuo ranks up there.
Oh, yeah, Nobuo. See, now we're getting, like, Japanese names, so we're probably going to butcher these, but Uematsu or whatever. To people who don't know, he composed more than Final Fantasy.
I think a little bit of Kingdom Hearts.
He composed the most epic of the Final Fantasies, for the most part, although he didn't do 10, did he?
Yeah, he did. He did a
10.
lot of 10. He shared it with, I think, someone named, like, Yoko something, but he did not do 13. That is why...
Yeah, it was 13.
Yeah, because, like, the victory theme was absent. It was just, like, weird music.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good music. But.
He's a legend. I think at this point, the guy who did, like, Journey, Austin... I always screw up his last name. Is it Wintery or Wintery? Anyway, Journey got nominated for a Grammy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a big deal for video game music. I think at this point, because he's released other great soundtracks, like for Monaco and other shit. I think, and I've said this in one of my blog posts, I think at this point we got to start considering him a national treasure, because he's not Nicolas the Nicolas Cage movie. The first one was okay. The second National Treasure was terrible. One? Yeah.
Is that the one that was like the Book of Secrets or something?
I think so. It was terrible. I never really liked the first one that much, but it was okay.
Are you staring at my national treasures?
Nicolas Cage. Do we move on and talk about Nicolas Cage, or we keep talking about
Well,
video games?
I guess I'll finish. I think it probably goes to Hans Zimmer. Probably Nobuo closely second. I'll put John Williams probably third or fourth, because the actual Star Wars tracks that I do like, well, I guess 4 to 6 have their, like, the Imperial March, which I could never say is an awful song, because it just, they were like, those movies to me were supposed to be were like lighter humored, and when I just think that 2 and 3 were really dark movies, 3 especially, and his really dark sounding tracks are really appealing, and I'd probably most go to 3. Favorite song being, dang, this one's hard. It's probably Love Pledge in the Arena. Yeah,
I hate that I'm having a hard time thinking of other video game composers. Like, I listen to a bunch, and when I'm on the podcast, when it matters, I can't think of the names.
That song by Meat Boy or whatever, by Team
Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, like the actual theme to that, isn't it? Maybe like Team Meat or something.
What, for Super Meat Boy?
Yeah.
But didn't they made Binding of Isaac, right? Too.
Probably.
Who did that soundtrack? That's a good soundtrack. Sacrificial off that soundtrack is one of my favorite video game songs of all time. I think that's amazing. I had another. I don't know who did the music, or whether it was a group or whatever. But the music for Nier or Nier, however you pronounce it, is one of the best video game soundtracks of all time.
Metal Gear has a solid soundtrack. I don't remember, because that game has a lot of different artists.
As much as I love Metal Gear, it's my favorite series, blah, 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 blah. I don't listen to the music a lot. The music to me is more of I like it in-game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a soundtrack I listen to outside of the game. Like, if I had to liken it to something like the Spring Breakers soundtrack, for the most part, some of the songs I like,
Hanging with them dope boys.
I don't listen to the Spring Breakers soundtrack outside of Spring Breakers, but within the movie, it is perfect. Like, it fits. But I don't listen to a lot of the soundtrack. But yeah, the Metal Gear, like, there are a couple songs, like the Love Theme from Metal Gear Solid 4, Enclosure from Metal Gear Solid, Old Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4. I really do like the beginning theme from Metal Gear Solid 1. There are some individual Metal Gear songs that I really, really enjoy, but for the most part, the Metal Gear Solid 2 theme is fantastic. Not even, but when the song gets epic, like maybe 3/4 of the way through, and it's like, but anyway, it sounded just like it. That part is awesome.
I forgot little Martin O'Donnell.
Martin O'Donnell.
Halo.
Oh.
Mr. O'Donnell. I think his brother is like the lead of. Actually, I think his brother. The thing that was kind of like. Was it? Because I think one of the O'Connors works in the music with O'Donnell, but when Bungie left to basically pursue Destiny, they had the rights to O'Donnell, and I'm pretty sure that's why he isn't with 343, so he left with them. And I believe I think O'Connor something helped him with the music, and he also left, and now the other O'Connor, who was like the lead of 343, is now like the lead of Halo.
Dang.
Which kind of sucks, because to be honest, I gotta give hate to that new artist. His songs are pretty solid, they just weren't as Halo feeling. Because they kind of took out that, because Halo songs, I had, when I used to be in music in like grade 7 to 8 or 7 to 9, the teacher's like, he didn't really play games much. He's always brought up Halo as a great example of, like, I think, sacred style music. And he's like, it's one of those great examples, but it doesn't really have that feeling. But O'Donnell's probably one of my favorites.
Halo 4 had I don't really want to get into any real depth.
I actually had to correct myself. All the times I said that it didn't really play into the old song, I went through the cutscenes, and they aren't the greatest at, like, volume, because if you didn't have your volume high, you would never hear them, but little, like when Halo 4 starts out and Cortana's, like, frantically checking the ship, the song No More Dead Heroes is like
Damn, no more
playing
Dead Heroes?
playing really quietly, and like if you watch the credits, Never Forget plays, and that's actually one of the better mixes of that song.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 2's mix was kind of crap, but 4's was just a different feeling, because it wasn't that feeling like that feeling of like, you know, Never Forget kind of just feels like a war is going on. It just is a sad like war song, whereas the Halo 4 one was played, I think, right after the Cortana death, and it kind of feels more personal to Cortana's death. Rest in peace, Cortana.
I can't remember what I thought about the Halo 4 soundtrack. Didn't I say something like that, where the music was quite a bit different, but it felt more personal?
Yeah, you said something like that, and the songs are like the ones I like. I don't like all of them, but 117, I think, Arrival, and Never Forget were really good tracks. And my only problem with him is he seemed to sample little parts of other songs, and just stick them in there. And sometimes they weren't the greatest sounding, but he made a pretty good soundtrack. He's no Martin O'Donnell.
Can you do better?
No.
I hate that. I hate that response to like criticism and shit. Like, if you critique something, it's like, well, you can't do any better. Why don't you go try to do better? It's like, you don't need to be able to do something to know what's good and what's not. Sure, it helps. It always helps. But I can't make a game. Doesn't mean I don't know what makes a shitty game. I don't get the coding, but...
Man, whenever I say opinions like that, it automatically comes off as hating, and that's not what I'm trying to put there. I think
Yeah,
you made
hating.
like phenomenal album, and
all you do is hate.
the only problem with the torrent is you can't find the first, because it was released in 2 discs, and you can't find the first disc anywheres. Like, I tried to find it separately, and like, I can't find it. I want to listen to the whole soundtrack, because it was released in a double pack, but when you go find the double pack, it's the double pack with only the second CD. And I'm like,
well, that's nice.
I know.
I want my double pack to only have 1 CD.
and I guess I could finish it off with Perfect Dark had a solid soundtrack. It's just nice electronic music. Like, you remember Chicago Stealth, the really sad, like...
Yeah.
I actually find myself sometimes listening to that if I'm like walking in the rain.
Dang.
The soundtrack is good. It's even though normally I'm not running down the street listening to like a fast-paced like stealth shooter soundtrack.
Don't kid yourself. Yes, you are.
I'm running down the street, chasing after Dr. Carroll. For people who don't play Perfect Dark wouldn't get that.
People who don't know Perfect Dark shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
They do not understand the challenge of escorting Dr. Carroll to the platform. Half the time you're like, come in the elevator and just sitting there staring, mocking you. You're like, oh, I'm coming for you.
AI wasn't quite all there.
Yeah,
back then.
he knows that if I shoot him, he blows up, so he can just taunt me with that. So I'm issuing him, challenging him. If you don't get in here, I'll blow you up. I'll take the blame for it.
You notice that when we do like the first couple podcasts, we made up a lot as we went, but we did have a couple topics written down that we kind of wanted to address, like that had like some world news and other junk. You notice that these last 2 where we've kind of gone more freeform, it's pretty much all game talk. Which it wasn't actually what I wanted the podcast to be. I wanted it to be a bunch of game talk with other stuff, but it's nice that our minds go there. There was something I was gonna say to you. Now I lost my train of thought.
Well, while you're thinking, breaking news.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah,
No, go ahead. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Can't interrupt
World
the breaking
news. Vladimir Putin, I'm pretty sure, still hates gay people, and now he's cracking down on not only Russia, but I'm pretty sure Ukraine now. He's tagging all fronts. What is that? I think there's an MP of Canada or something that stated like, we haven't seen something like this since like the Second World War. I'm like, dang, Russia's just taken back. They've taken enough crap. They're like, we ain't second rate anymore. We're taking every country.
Damn, I wouldn't mess with Russia.
I wouldn't. Mother Russia's strong. And Putin's even strong. Have you seen all of his, like, vacationing photos?
Yeah.
Dang, he's tough.
He's a manly man.
That dude could probably walk through, like, 100 feet of snow naked for, like, 10 hours straight.
He probably does.
With only, like, a bag of hair and like a bottle of sweat to drink.
He doesn't even need that. He's so manly.
He just eats the snow as he's walking through. He's like Pac-Man.
Vladimir Putin is
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
And that's
that puts a whole new spin on the actual game when you think about it.
He's like that's gonna be like the Pac-Man tactic of how he takes the world over. He's just gonna eat the countries as he goes.
What are the ghosts? The Americans.
The Americans and the
Britons. What are we in the Cold War now?
It's the Americans and the Britons, and just a little bit of France, like a dude in the back. The scared one's France. Canada's not in there because we don't have a military.
Canada's not in there because Canada's basically non-existent.
Because we're wimps.
Oh!
I feel like a lot of veterans would be very... No, I'm not calling them wimps. I'm calling... I'm calling...
We don't got time to get into the whole...
Stephen Harper sucks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, that's... Yeah, we ain't conservative.
Say ya. See, I told you I'd throw that in randomly.
I wanted to ask you something since...
I've been waiting like 30 minutes to say that.
You've been have you really?
Yeah. As soon as, like, when it started and you were just like, when we were talking about what you were doing, I was so close to interrupting you going, say ya.
You're a knob, but I guess that's... At this point...
You gotta just admire my creativity and my will to...
I don't really have to admire you, and I choose not to.
Oh.
I want to ask you a question. Gotta get back on them games.
I thought it was world news.
Nah, I don't. You know what? A long time ago, I decided just to shut myself in from the world because it was just too depressing. And this is my life story from the beginning. When I was born, I was a very unhappy child. No, but listen.
Dang.
But listen. Are you listening?
Yep.
Sorry. What? See ya.
I can listen and play with G.I. Joes at the same time.
You're not playing with G.I. Joes, you're too old for that.
Oh yeah.
So Titanfall comes out next week. What are your thoughts?
Robots.
Robots? You got no thoughts?
That was
this
my
isn't
thought.
Going nearly as good as I had planned. I wanted to...
Robots with big guns that are going to kill. Like, I think I watched a video of, like, a dude running, and out of nowhere, like, a Titan was just waiting for him, and he just bolted through before it could shoot him. I'm like, wow.
Can you imagine it comes out... I mean, I know a bunch of people have played betas, and...
Yeah, they just decided to change it completely.
But imagine it just sucks. Like... Because Microsoft is going all in.
I told a friend about it, and we were talking about it. He's like, it's probably going to be okay. It looks like it has outdated graphics. This is like that friend that's like in love with Steam, and Valve is the only good. Like,
Valve.
Let's just put that one in mind.
Gabe did an AMA this week.
Dang. How many people did he get talking to?
I don't know. I never read it, but apparently he ignored all questions about Half-Life 3. Which, can't really blame him.
Oh, I thought you meant Gabe Vinyls.
No, Gabe, fuck that guy. He only makes our theme song.
I got really excited. I'm like, dang, people ask him about Half-Life.
People ask Gabe about
Shout out to Gabe.
Because he's from New York, so he's got that New York street cred, so which means he knows everything about everything.
He knows Gabe Newell.
Yeah.
Newell.
But yeah, he pretty much ignored, I guess, all Halo. God damn, I suck tonight. See ya! I'm leaving. You're on your own for the rest of this podcast.
Halo Hour!
Great. Well, you pretty much made every podcast Halo Hour anyway. I need to get you to play other games. So you have something else to talk about.
I don't understand these other games. Do they involve Halo?
Some of them do.
Alright.
Well, that asking about Titanfall didn't go nearly as good as I hoped.
Well, we could.
I was just trying. Listen, I'm just trying to be topical. I'm trying to build hype and
what do you think? Do you think it looks like it has outdated, poor graphics?
No, but I'm not a graphics.
To me, I'm like they look new age. I'm like I feel like that's just that. Well, then again, he's someone who craps on any FPS that isn't TF2 because they're all unoriginal compared to TF2. Which
I think the graphics look fine. I'm not a graphics whore. All I care about is the gameplay. And if the graphics help the gameplay in some way,
they look beautiful.
then that's good.
The little story I've seen seems pretty sweet. The voice acting seems sweet. I haven't heard any soundtrack. Normally I would talk about that.
I'm going in almost
Big robots.
I'm going in almost blind on it because I've seen some videos when they leaked footage a while back there of like a match. I was curious to see how it handled, and it looked good enough that I'm gonna buy it. And I kind of want to go in not having really seen much.
You really should have just ended it with big robots. That's the main draw of Titanfall.
Can I just go back and edit this? Get rid of... In fact, if I'm going back and editing, I should just edit out pretty much everything we've said. Can have a nice, crisp, tightly edited 5-minute podcast that is actually entertaining and not just us rambling about nothing.
About Halo?
That's all you, son.
Do you think there's like a Gabe fanfic?
A Gabe fanfic? Which Gabe are we talking about?
Like Newell about him like making love to what's his face from Half-Life.
Are we seriously on fanfics again?
You wanted topics. Fanfics are in the news. You hear that?
No. Fanfics are in the news. It's called 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh!
This wasn't really a burn, considering it was a Twilight fanfic. But I am so current talking about 50 Shades of Grey.
More like 50 Shades of Lame. Oh!
People are going to hate this podcast.
I hope we don't wake the neighbors.
People probably already do hate this podcast.
Maybe if we tell the neighbors, they'll listen, and they'll share it to their neighbors. Which should be us. Because there's only 3 people on the street. Actually 2. Yo, you hear about this podcast? Yeah, I'm on that podcast.
Yeah, so you got anything you want to maybe say? Maybe I'm kind of drawing a blank because I'm kind of tired.
Oh yeah, Twitch plays Pokemon. It started another game like a week ago.
What is up with you? Every single podcast, Pokemon, Halo.
I've been saying that when I'm like, we
might
as well talk
Grand Theft Auto, but you stopped playing.
We might as well talk about Twitch plays Pokemon since it's like all over the internet.
Okay, go for it.
I don't really know what to say. All it is like they're going around pushing random buttons. They randomly name things, and somehow out of like random characters they got like Jay Leno Ratatat. Apparently they got like Bird Jesus, and I don't know if you've seen some of these like Facebook profiles that like Bird Jesus has only existed for like a week, and there's already like 20,000 likes of these pages. There's the Almighty Helix Fossil, which is like God, which apparently if you check Wikipedia is now a religion that's like in the top like 7.
Dang.
People following the Helix Fossil. But they end up releasing like every cool Pokemon. They released the starter like Charmeleon.
Yeah.
They actually kept this starter, which turned I don't know if you know like Totodile.
Nope.
But it's like next after Squirtle. It's called they call it like Laser Totodile. They have another Pidgey that they've not allowed to evolve. there was a false prophet. The Flareon was a false prophet that apparently was the reason people I don't know. There's so many stories that they've made out of it. I don't know if you've seen all the artwork, but like a day after things happened, there were there's so much artwork for it. That's all I see on Facebook now. Like, it's just amazing. All those Pokemon lost to the almighty PC box. Yeah.
I haven't watched Twitch Plays Pokemon since a very long time ago.
And now they're starting Twitch Plays Minecraft. I'm like, oh my god. They're gonna just go forward, and that's all they're gonna do.
I mean, it's a neat idea, like the whole Twitch Plays whatever thing, but it's gonna get to the point where it's probably gonna be overdone.
Twitch Plays Halo. I'll be that one dude that just I'll spam the chat with all the commands. I'll be the only one watching. We've successfully beat the first level after 2 weeks.
Yay! What an accomplishment.
What other games can Twitch play?
I don't know.
We need to make a game for On the Podcast. On the Podcast, the only podcast where we have a game.
On the podcast.
That was supposed to be funnier than
video.
it was. I was supposed to be like...
Well, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that, like, everything I say is supposed to be funnier than it was, so I only expect, my blood relation to follow the same thing. So
on the podcast.
Don't feel bad.
Where you're on the podcast playing the On the podcast game. And Twitch plays it, so it's...
Damn, Twitch is playing our game that's not even made yet?
Yeah.
Well.
Twitch plays Skyrim.
Oh
my god. But think about it. They did beat a Pokemon game in like a week, which is pretty solid. Like
not bad.
Most people take so long. Then again, they weren't like hardcore spamming it and farming, and I'm pretty sure they got dumb luck at the Elite Four, and I think they battled like the final guy. They just got dumb luck that he was like using defensive moves and not being offensive. So they got dumb luck, but still.
So cool that they did it.
And now, like, how did they end up from... You would have thought they would have, like, stuck in a wall for, like, an hour.
I know, because whenever I would watch, it was... They did nothing.
I know. I watched, like, 5 minutes, I'm like, they're just going here, they're going back, they're opening the menu, going to the bag, leaving, walking, opening...
Yeah.
And then there's the people that hate it so much that they've vowed to, like, screw it over. I'm like, yeah, ruin the fun for everyone else.
Why do people hate it? It's not hurting anyone.
It's kind of that whole, like, I hate something, so I'm going to have to destroy it on the internet now.
The internet's terrible.
Yeah.
And on that note, see ya.
Well, see ya.
We got anything we want to...
I'm gone, you can't talk to me.
You're gone?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to On the Podcast. I'm Tyler, and...
You're not mobbing with anyone.
I'm not mobbing with anybody because I got no friends. I'm forever alone. You're not even here. So...
Dang.
So unless you got something to say, I guess we should probably peace out of this for another week. You got anything? He's just getting ready to say see ya. That's all this is. He's sitting
Goodbye.
He's sitting here with the dumbest look on his face, but he always has the dumbest look on his face.
Hello.
Hey everybody, welcome. So, you got anything?
See ya.
Bye.
I love you.
Well, don't say that.
See ya.
Later.
See ya.
We can't end like that. Thanks everybody. Thank you everybody for listening to our podcast. Our podcast.
Well, you're the only podcast where you're on the podcast.
Is a passion of ours, and we appreciate anybody who will listen to our podcast.
Thanks, Jason and Justin. And occasionally Blake.
No, screw that guy. He doesn't even want
screw you, man. Fight us. I can't give you our address. We'll have to come to you. Give us your address.
All right, then.
See ya.
Peace.